Have you noticed this? That AI tool that felt like absolute magic a few months ago, now it just feels a little off. Well, it's not just you, and the reason why is actually way more interesting than you'd think.
It's such a frustrating feeling, isn't it? You ask it to do a task it's handled 100 times before, but this time it just fails. It spits out an answer that's technically correct, sure, but it's completely useless. You're left thinking, wait, is this thing getting dumber?
I mean, think back to when you first started using it. It was amazing. You'd give it a problem and boom, it gave you a solution. You'd ask it to analyze some data, summarize a document, or whip up some code, and it worked almost perfectly.
Yeah, there was no friction. It seemed to get what you were asking for, it understood the context of your work, and it was consistently saving you time. It felt like a reliable tool, maybe even a little glimpse into the future.
But lately, that magic has started to fade. The answers feel a little off. It misunderstands really simple requests. The tool that once felt like a partner now feels more like an obstacle you have to work around. So, what happened? Did the AI actually get worse?
To figure that out, we first have to look at our own expectations. I mean, what do we naturally assume a tool that we call intelligent should be able to do?
Your core assumption, and look, it's a totally reasonable one, is that a smart system learns, right? Just like a human assistant, you expect it to pick up on new patterns, new priorities, and new information as time goes on.
So as your projects change and your business grows, you just assume the AI is keeping up. You figure it's building this continuous history of your interactions, getting smarter and more tuned in with every single request. But that's not what's happening at all.
In this gap, this mismatch between what we expect and what's really going on, it shows up in these small, frustrating moments. Let's walk through a really common business scenario.
Okay, so let's say you use an AI to help classify and respond to customer support tickets. For this AI to be useful, it has to understand one key concept. What counts as an urgent customer issue?
Now, when you first set up the AI, maybe your biggest problem was server downtime. So the model was trained on thousands and thousands of examples where urgent always meant a server was offline. And you know what? It got really good at spotting those specific tickets.
But your business has changed since then. Your servers are stable now. Today, the most urgent issues are failures with a new, critical software integration you've just rolled out. The very definition of urgent has evolved.
So when a ticket about that new integration comes in, the AI doesn't see it as urgent. It's still hunting for keywords and patterns related to server outages. It gives you a perfect answer for a problem you don't have anymore.
So why does this happen? Well, it's not a bug. It's not a random error. It's actually a fundamental constraint in how a lot of these models are designed from the ground up.
Here's a good way to think about it. An AI model is like a highly detailed map. And this map represents your business, your data, and your problems at the specific moment in time it was created.
When that model was trained, it was a perfect map of the landscape. It knew all the roads, all the landmarks, all the shortcuts. It was an expert navigator for that specific territory at that specific time.
You know, in machine learning, this phenomenon actually has a name. It's called concept drift. It's just a way of saying that the world changes over time, but the model's understanding of that world stays the same. The very meaning of urgent has drifted.
So let's go back to our map. What happens when the real world changes? When new highways get built, old towns are abandoned, and the landscape itself just evolves?
Well, the map itself hasn't gotten worse. The ink hasn't faded. It's just as accurate as the day it was printed, but it's no longer a reliable guide because the territory it represents has changed. The model isn't broken, it's just obsolete.
Now you're probably wondering, why not just build models that are constantly updating, like a live GPS? Well, it comes down to a very deliberate engineering trade-off.
See, a static model, that snapshot we've been talking about, is incredibly stable and predictable. You know exactly what it's going to do every single time. A dynamic, continuously learning model, on the other hand, would be more adaptive, sure, but it could also become unpredictable. Its behavior could change from day to day, making it really hard to rely on for critical business processes. For a lot of applications, stability is just way more important than adaptability.
So let's tie this all together. How does this connect back to that original confusion, that feeling that your tool is just broken?
Here's the key takeaway. The AI system hasn't actually degraded. It doesn't have less capability than it did before. It is performing its original function perfectly.
The problem is that its function is based on a world that doesn't exist anymore. Its knowledge is a snapshot of the past, and you're living in the present. That growing gap between its world and your world, that's what you experience as failure.
So the crucial point is this. Your intuition that a smart tool should learn and adapt, it failed you here. And it failed because the system wasn't designed for continuous learning in the first place. It was designed to perfectly execute a task based on a fixed understanding of the world. And as your world changed, the AI, well, it was left behind.